And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, welcome. We want to thank Timothy for joining us on Amazon. He's already in and has hit that follow button. If you guys are not following us, make sure you guys hit the follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. You will also see 20 great books, and they weren't chosen by me. They were chosen by our next guest, who was actually with us last year. We're excited to welcome back Ellen Sudderth to our broadcast today of ESP Presents. We want to talk to Ellen not only about the year that's been 2023 for her, what it's been like for her to recommend some great books, and her top 20 books that she wants you guys to know about. We have them right here on Amazon for you, all curated together so you can be able to add them to your own reading list. Ellen, my friend, welcome back to the broadcast.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to this.
Well, the pleasure is definitely all mine. I love it when you can always tell when somebody y'all is an interviewer when they welcome me to my own show. But I appreciate I know you're used to welcoming other people, Ellen. So I totally understand. Ellen, look, it's been great watching you. You have a great platform you've been able to build with ESP Presents. One of the things you do, of course, is interview authors, sharing. Also, you have your book chats. What has it been like for you to think about this year and the great books that have come your way?
Oh, it has been great, especially with our social media. It has been the great for me, the greatest great, because I'm in Newport News, Virginia, a small place, and it's not much going on, but we try to make it happen here. So it's been great sharing out what I do to the public.
Yeah. So it's very obvious that to me and to I know others as well, Ellen, that you're a great lover of books. When did your love of books, when did that begin for you?
Oh, it began as a parent involvement specialist. We went to, we meaning a group of women. We had younger kids, older women with younger kids. And
Mhm.
so we found out what our interest was, and we loved books. And in that, we were trying to figure out what to read, and we read Kimberly Lawson Roby Curtis series. And
Mm.
so, based off of that series, we read 8 books in less than 3 months. And so,
Oh, wow.
we want to give back because of Kimberly Lawson Roby, who gave us the passion to read.
Love that. I love Kimberly. She's an author I've been following for years. Had an opportunity to meet her a few years ago, right here in my home state of Mississippi, when she was visiting. Definitely a talented author for sure. But you've been able to do something really interesting, Ellen. You have been able to communicate and associate with established authors, but also to help careers of rising stars as well in the literary world. What has that been like for you to be able to give your audience the mixture of maybe names that they're familiar with, but also authors that maybe are not on their radar?
Oh, it has been great. One of the things that we do, we will always say, we're going to interview the author, and the authors like, interview me. They're trying to figure out what are you doing here? And so I explained to them, we're not interviewing you, we're interviewing your book. And so I
Mhm.
haven't seen anybody do that where they read the book and they pull out the characters, talk about the characters as the writer intended their book to be. I ran across authors that said, "Who book is that?" I was like, "It's your book." And so they wanted to hear that feedback. And so that's the difference in doing what we do. And we also love, it's our passion to bring in newly published, smush them up right alongside New York Times bestseller. Our readers, they don't know the difference unless we say they are new.
Right, exactly. And I love the fact that you've been able to build your platform the way you have. I want to say hello to Wendy. Wendy's joining us on the Amazon side. Hello, Wendy. We have Dr. Velma joining us as well. She's on LinkedIn. So I do want to say, and I didn't mention it earlier, we are simulcasting our broadcast today. So we do have our Amazon audience on Amazon.com, but we also have individuals like Dr. Velma joining us on LinkedIn. We have YouTube. We also have Twitter as well today and Facebook. We already have Ellen actually tagged on our Facebook page, so make sure you guys are staying connected with her there. Dr. Velma is one of the authors you've been able to showcase as well, Ellen. So I want to talk about this experience for you. Could you have imagined when you began, especially your social media experience, that you would not only be able to connect with other readers, but build the relationships with authors that you have?
No, I could not imagine that. I just figured that maybe if I read this author book, maybe I might meet them. Just
Mhm.
maybe. And so I just reached out to the authors, and this is what we used to do back in the day. Would reach out on Facebook, try to see if the authors want to come,
Hmm.
and they don't necessarily know me, but they were trying to get their books out there.
Hmm.
And so that has been a great way of doing that. So that's what I like. It was something else I want to say, but I'll keep it short.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So reaching out to them, and also authors coming to me as well. So that was a great thing. Word of mouth, and getting those books out there, and reading the authors, and just say, hey, would you like to do a book signing with me? And they do. I mean, I didn't have to show any bells and whistles about who I am, especially with Omar Tyree. He was the one I opened my debut with. We didn't know anything about each other, and I found it like, they say I can sell water, you know, water to a whale. So
Hmm.
I look at it that way, and I'm like, okay, because I just believe, and that's what you said. What is that I believe in? No to me means not right now, not yet, or you don't know me.
Hmm. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So true. At least that's what I hear in my head too. Even though they may actually mean no, in my head, that's exactly what you just said is what I hear also. Also, Ellen, and I want to talk about that because I mean, your reputation does precede you in that anyone can go on your Instagram in particular, right, and see your shout outs that you do with authors, even giving authors opportunity to come on for a couple minutes, even just to be able to talk about their books. Talk to us about what it's been like for you to build a business doing this, because I think for a lot of people, when I first started, it was we didn't know how these things would work, but they ended up coming together, especially when it comes to building an online and offline presence. What has it been like for you to have built ESP Presents and to see it grow the way it has?
Oh, that has also been great as well. Like you say, just doing it as a reader, as an avid reader, and then I get to be in the trenches with the writers. So I learned a lot. To folks think I'm an author, but what they do in the trenches, I was like, okay, so then how can I do this? And then I got a chance to talk to authors, to almost like I'm a book coach. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so that has helped me in doing my business, to walk alone or in the trenches with the authors, and learning and keeping my ear and heart to the ground, and opening the door for those who are newly published, because someone could write a book and not think about it as their baby. This
Yeah.
is your baby that you're putting out to the world. And so I'll say, well, come alongside of us who does this type of work. And because you're new, you can come in, and then you can have a family, to build readership, and have that author readership type of flow going. So that's what it has been to me. To it's great.
Yeah. Well, Wendy is telling off on you on Amazon, Ellen. I just want you to know. Wendy says that you stalked Omar Tyree at a book festival.
I
Uh,
sure did. I sure did.
so but but that's the cool thing though about these relationships and these rapports. And I know you all did something together this year. I remember seeing it on your
Yeah.
Instagram page as well. So for yourself then, I have found it when conversations, some now it's been 17 years that we've been doing our top books list. When we first started, it was not as difficult as it is today for us because, for one thing, I wasn't meeting as many authors because conversations, a lot of people think conversations is mainly dealing with authors, and it's not. It's more entertainment, and we brought authors into it when we were building it. But we started off doing our top 100 list, and then after a while, it's like, you know what? I need to narrow this down. Then we did top 50, and now we do 25 nonfiction, 25 fiction, and then we do our top 20 for young readers. So I'm curious for ESP Presents as we transition here in a bit. How do you make your decision about your list? How do you kind of decide on what books end up on your top list of the year?
Oh, that was so hard, Cyrus. It was not easy.
Hmm.
But the first thing is to read the book. So read the book, and then I put them in a category of genre, and that's how I was able to build. But it was so hard. It was not easy.
Yeah. Wendy says we have developed a beautiful relationship with our authors, and I think that's the cool thing about too. Dr. Velma, you may want to refresh. It's showing fine on our end. Okay, yeah, it should be showing fine on our end, but sometimes on the other platforms, and I see you switched over to Facebook. Sometimes it does that, get a little glitchy over there. So for this year, I thought it was an interesting list. I got a chance just for our audience to know. I had Ellen send me her list of 20 books. And the funny thing is, Ellen, something happened that I like. Out of the 20 books you chose, I've only read two of them. So 18 of them were totally new to me. So I want to talk about what that's been like for you, for people who are even avid readers, right? Who read a lot. What has it been like for you to introduce them to new authors and books?
It seems like it has been easy because we do welcome new writers in. So for that, it's kind of an easy transition, if you will,
Mhm.
because that's what we do. Had we not done that, it would have been hard to convince the readers, let's take on these new authors, let's read these new books, because sometimes people only like the authors and just read in that genre.
Mhm.
And so we kind of try in our book club, try to different authors, whether they knew or they are seasoned.
Mhm.
So it was kind of smooth for us.
So talk to us about the book club. Talk to us more about that. How's the book club formed, Ellen, and the members? How are they kind of gathered together?
We have been gathered together. We kind of sort of live here. When we were reading is what we do. We
Mhm.
lived in the same town. And so things happen in people's lives. Some people, like one girl, her husband passed. And
Mm.
so we just kind of still want to keep that going. So when the internet happened, that's when we put it on there. So our core is people who we know in our neighborhood. And then pandemic, we met some more ladies, and so they're online. So that's where the online came from. So we have some core readers, and it's like 434 people that is online on the reading. So we know that a core is reading, and those they tell us, oh, we saw the book, we read the book, and
Mhm.
different things like that. So we don't know exactly from the internet how many, not that you ask for numbers, but
Yeah.
how many looking. But everybody's looking, but not many are responding. You know how Facebook tell you
Yeah.
who's
Hmm.
engaging, 282 people. So
Right.
that's good. So we don't really think about the numbers or anything. There is no commitment, meaning that you can come, you can go, you can stay as long as you like, you can get your books, library, whatever, stuff like that, you
Love
know,
that. Love that.
just in the book club, but
Mhm.
mainly, that's what we try to do.
Yeah,
Get
and I
people
love that,
engaged.
being able to combine the two of online and offline is something that I've really been telling groups about the importance of. I mean, the internet has been wonderful, I think, for all of us, but not losing that connection, that personal connection, is so important as well. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. I'm joined today by Ellen Sudderth. You see her there next to me. Ellen and I have known each other for quite a while. We've been able to connect online. She's been very nice to me. Not that she's not always nice to me, but sometimes, she sides with my guest against me. But I'm a very forgiving person, so I don't hold that against her. So she's here today to talk to us about ESP Presents and her top 20 books of 2023. That's coming up. We're not there yet. So you guys hold tight because she has a great list for you guys. And as I mentioned, out of the 20, I only had read two of them. 18 of them were brand new for me. And you guys will be finding out more about those and of course, be able to get them here on Amazon. I want to also welcome those who are joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Now, for you guys, you'll see a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon. So if you see a book that Ellen recommends, make sure you guys do click that link. That'll bring you right over to Amazon. And we're going to be sharing my screen, something we don't typically do here on Cyrus Web Presents, but I want you guys to actually be able to see the books as Ellen is going through them. So I'll be actually sharing my screen with you guys so you can be able to see them in our carousel there. So Ellen, you said earlier this was not easy. So kind of talk to us, give us an idea of the process, because I think for book clubs out there, for individuals who have shows like yours who may want to see how they can choose their books? What was your process of choosing the books this year?
Okay. So there is 12 months in a year.
Hmm.
And then everybody can submit their book in. And so when they submit their book in, that's where we get them. And some of them I do on my own because I host authors. So a bulk of that come from there. And so we look at the book, always go for the synopsis. Some of
Hmm.
them may or may not, but I always go for there. So based on those synopsis, reading those books, sorry, it was so hard, but it's so good to hear you only know two of them. I'm
Yeah.
so happy about that. This is
Yeah.
what I look for. Okay, now off my soapbox with you, but that's what I look
No, no,
for.
that's a cool thing. And actually, here's the thing though, Ellen, and I can say this for my audience and for your audience. I think this is what is so great about the book community, because this is just proof that there's room for everybody. Ellen hosts shows. Ellen has a book club. I host shows. I have a book club. But as I mentioned, out of the 20 books that Ellen chose, I had only read two. And honestly, the majority of them I never even heard of before. Didn't even know of the authors. But now they're on my radar because of it. And I bring that up to say, individuals should never think that there's not room for them, that that there's not books that they can feature. There's always going to be as many authors that are out there, as many books that are out there. There will always be platforms. So if you see a place that you want to be able to spotlight authors, there are plenty of authors, just like what Ellen does and what I do, where you can be able to do that, and you don't have to feel like you're stepping on someone's toes, or someone else is already doing that. We have to get out of that mindset, because what Ellen does is so great, and especially when I'm able to catch her live, especially on IG when she's hosting her show, she does a lot of things I don't do, and it's great to be able to see how other people are using their platforms to do that. So I think that I really commend you, Ellen, on what you built with ESP Presents and what you do in using your platform the way you do to spotlight authors. So, Ellen, are you ready to go through the list? Oh, Wendy says we learn from each other. So many unsung authors. Wendy, I totally agree. I totally agree. And as Ellen brought up a really good point, I don't want to boost her up her head too much, Wendy, because we already know it's. But as she already said, a lot of times people don't know that these are new authors. That they're being introduced to. And I think that's the other great thing as well. Colette says it's hard to remember that sometimes. Colette, you're right, but we have to remember. There's that's why I've always felt like there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody, both on the hosting side and the author side. If you have a story you want to tell that story. If you're someone who wants to host a platform, host that platform. There's going to be room for you. So, Ellen, are you ready? Are you ready to go through the list?
I am so ready and so happy that you only know two.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do, Ellen, so we can make sure everyone's able to see. We've never done this way on Sudderth Presents before. But what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So for those who are not on Amazon, you guys are going to see what it looks like on Amazon. And what I'm going to do is actually highlight the books on the screen for you, because I'm a nice guy. That's what I do around here. On the Amazon side, you guys will see the book highlighted for you, so you can be able to click on it. Some of you have already been doing that already. I see the little bubbles going up, and thank you guys for the hearts as well. We've had over 292 hearts over there on Amazon as well, so appreciate you guys with the hearts. But what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Ellen, we're going to get started. And Ellen, Colette says your gifts will make room for you. I'm going to highlight that, Colette, because that is so true. Your gifts will make room for you. And I think that is such a great thing to remember. So, Ellen, about to turn it over to you. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to start with number 20. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. So I'm sharing my screen now. We got number 20 highlighted, and you can see the screen there, Ellen.
I can see it. It's far away. Would you say the name, please? It's too
Okay.
tiny.
Okay. So the first one is A Resurrection in Bonner's Ferry.
Yes, that is Timothy Cable. That book there, I really love, enjoy, about a doting husband who has a narcissistic wife. And she is so not the nurturing type at all. She always berating her husband. So that is a shocker to see a father loving on his children this day and time. They always talk about the fathers, and he is absolutely a great father.
All right. All right. Moving on to our next title. That is, It's Not All Downhill from Here.
Okay. We read that. Our group read that. And I really like that. Terry McMillan book. I hadn't uh, read that one before. It's so different from her other books. And what I like about that is I am in my 60s. And she showed these feisty women who was letting the folks know that we're not downhill because we're 60. We are alive, well, and just having fabulous fun, just like those 20-year-olds. So I love that.
All right. Okay. All right, everyone. We're moving on to our next book. We have it highlighted there in the carousel, Unaware of Your Awareness.
Dr. Robert, I met him on Wisdom. So his book I really enjoyed because being in the 1950s, he's a young boy at that time, racial tension at rest, and he had dyslexia. He has dyslexias, and so he learned to cope with it, just overcome that, and to be your best self. So I really like that he didn't focus on dyslexia, but he learned the best way he could, and he achieved, and he's an overcomer.
Okay, I want to let our audience know, and again, you guys are getting the behind the scenes here because I'm sharing my screen. If you guys see the little bubbles going up there, those are people buying Terry McMillan's book. It's not all down here from here, so you can see her book in the little bubbles there. That means someone is buying that book. If you see the little bubbles going up on your screen there, so that evidently is going to be a favorite for people, and I want people to know about Unaware of Your Awareness. You guys can see it on the screen there. It's on sale for 99 cents for the Kindle edition. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. All right. The next one we have is syrup sandwiches.
Oh my, with Anthony Owens, a lot of fatherlessness, bullying, and also being impoverished. So he overcame that, and now he's bringing awareness to overcoming being bullied, overcoming being fatherlessness, and the different things that he had to do as a young man to help raise the family with his mom. So I thought that was a really good read.
Okay. Next up, and I think this is one of a couple of children's books you have on your list, Ellen. That's Not My Cat.
Mm, that's not my cat, Anna Marie. Anne Marie. I really like that because she showed my mom has dementia now. And so her father had dementia due to her injury, and it just a brain injury. And so what she did was instead of having the kids be afraid of someone who keeps forgetting, she had brought involved a little cat so that the little boy in the story could bring the cat to the grandfather and say, he says, this is not my cat. So it was a way of remembering with different things with his grandfather to interact and just to embrace what you have now and not be afraid to continue to have those small memorable moments.
Love that. Love that. The next up is Sam and Uncle. Let's see. Learning to Serve and Protect.
Oh my, Phoebe did a wonderful job with that. At that time, it was a lot of still, a lot of youth being killed. And so she used a school setting, and also I'm a military wife, a military setting where Uncle Joe talks to his nephew about grief. So they explain to him, sometimes they would tell a child that they're going to heaven, where they feel bad about someone going to heaven because they want them there with them. So it explains a great way about grief in a child's perspective, also to help him to cope with grief, because he did see the young man being murdered in front of him. So it was a lot of things that he was going through, traumatic things.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say for those who are just coming in, I'm seeing some other sales coming in there. Again, that's the bubbles. If you guys are seeing the bubbles on your screen, That's what that is. There are people that are purchasing those books that you see inside of this circle. I can't see actually by the color of the book what book that is that someone just got. But all of the books, again, if you guys are on the Amazon side, all you have to do is click on them to be able to get your copies of those. For those who are not joining us on Amazon, make sure you guys click the link that's with this. It'll bring you over to Amazon to be able to get yours. And again, we appreciate the hearts over there as well on the Amazon side. Okay, someone says that's awesome. I love seeing the books purchased. You know what? I love seeing the books being purchased too. A Kindle customer, I appreciate you you saying
Yes.
that as well. And I know the author likes seeing the book being purchased too. The next one we have up is combat related PTSD, the Willie Gray story. Now, let me say, I've only read two of the books that are on your list. I have purchased this one. Oh, hey, Colette. Okay, Colette, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was you over there on the Amazon side. I have not read this one, but this one I know is by Marva. What can you tell us about this one, Ellen?
Okay. Melvina, she is a wonderful person who I met 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, wrote her experience about post-traumatic stress disorder. Her husband suffered severely, and that was combat related. That's why her book is titled Combat Related PTSD. She gives her account. In 1995, she started writing everything that she had gone through about her husband, his outbursts and all those things. And so she wrote it down to bring awareness. So she stayed with her husband until he passed. And she's bringing awareness whether you stay or whether you leave. Please get the help that you need. Don't diagnose yourself. So that's one thing I like about her book, that she is really paving the way about awareness of PTSD.
Love that. Dr. Velma is also over there on Amazon. And Wendy says that was different for Terry McMillan. I liked it for that reason. We may be aging, but we have so much to live for. Just to let you guys know, that is one of the books that I have read, is the Terry McMillan book. Okay. All right. Moving on to our next one. I have not bought this one and probably will not be buying this one since it does not pertain to me. But Marriage is Simple. What do you want to tell us about this
Yeah,
one?
yeah. Anyway, with that one, Mike, he did a really good job with this book here about being intentionally being married. And he shows, yes, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some ups and downs, but work together at that. If you're intentional, and he learned a lot. He said his father is a pastor, and he learned a lot. And then he didn't, in this sense that when he got married, they military and they automatically deployed away from family, and he had to learn how to be married. So I really like that there.
All right. All right. Dr. Van says, wow, what a tough story about PTSD. Definitely looking forward to reading that one. I have not, like I said, I purchased that one, but I have not read it. So I appreciate you guys on that. Okay. Moving on to our next one. This one I do know. The Wrong Catch.
Mm?
She'll Tear Down the House by the one and only Dr. Velma Bagby.
Oh, yes, I absolutely love that, Garrison. He was talking to the men, us readers that were listening to the men being described in metaphors as fish. But then when it got to us, Cyrus, we are named by animals, tools, and I'm like, wow, she describes a woman, the guy getting the right catch. Dr. Garrett, I said Dr. Garrison because I think about her. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Garrison, he talks to the men about getting the right woman. And so just the metaphor that Dr. Velma used, widow spiders and hyena and all those different things, and the characteristics, she did a wonderful job about that. Got a little upset, but it was true. Thank you, Dr. Velma. So I like the way she had also let the men know that you could have some bad women as well.
Right. And that's the other one that I had read there as well. Again, that book is coming out here next week. So you guys will be able to enjoy it. You can already pre-order it for 99 cents right now. Again, that is The Wrong Catch. She'll Tear Down the House by Dr. Velma Bagby. Okay. That moves on to the next one. Now, I have to say, and again, as I was compiling this for Amazon, Ellen, again, this next one I didn't know about. I didn't know there was a series Forbidden. It is forbidden to bring in an outsider. What can you tell us about this one?
Oh my goodness, such a wonderful story. Um, Cyrus, I might be way older than you. It gives that Shaka Zulu type travel feel.
Okay.
And you have Emily, who is engaged to Brody. Brody promises, because he is in an election time, he wants to win. He promises Emily that he's going to have women's rights, talk about equality in that, and talk about racial unrest. But really, he's out for himself. So there's
Mm.
some terrible things that happen to Emily where she meets, uh, Dakota, who is in a indigenous and a tribal type, and that's where things spin off in a different spin because she's an outsider. So that is a really great story, y'all.
Yeah. All right. Wendy says about Dr. Belma. Yes, Dr. Belma's series is a must-have for young adults to adults dating intentionally. I could not agree with you more there, Wendy. So again, Forbid. I'm gonna have to check that one out. It was interesting when I was loading it on Amazon. When I noticed Ellen Net was part of a series there, so it made me curious. So I'm gonna have to check it out. The next one is A Winter's Kiss.
Oh, Christy, on that, you see a young woman who wants to do the right thing before she gets married, like save herself, and she really wants to meet this guy that she's with. Her sister, she caught her sister with her fiance, and things start spiraling. But what got me is that her mother and they have a tumultuous relationship. So that is really a good book. I'm trying to tell you about the book. I don't want to really remember the characters because I'll forget the whole thing, and I don't want to
Right.
do that.
Right.
It's a great book. It is a great book.
Okay. All right. We have a few more here. The next book that we have is let's see, is it pronounced Saving Beckia?
Yes, Saving Becca. That is a wonderful book confronting uh, female genital mutilation.
Mm.
So the thing about that, it might sound, but it is written into a love story where Becca is telling her story and how the false reason that they give to do the procedure, it's not right. So she's trying to save the women and trying to stop them in doing that. So it is a true story, but it's
Mm.
written into fiction.
Gotcha. The next one is it the Flora Sisters?
Flahora Sisters.
Flora
I
Sisters.
love
Okay.
that story. It's a vintage story. Sequence Atkins, she really did good with that story where you have Constantine and you have her husband, who is the king. She's murdered, right? It's already in there. I'm not trying to give it away. And so
Hmm.
they're trying to figure out. She have four daughters who have superpowers. And so did her daughters kill her? Did her brother-in-law kill her? We don't know who was the killer, but we do know if her daughters get married, there must be a king because you can't be an heiress. So I really love that.
Interesting. Hello to you, Tamika. Tamika's joining us on the Facebook side. Tamika, we have with us Ellen Sudderth today of ESP Presents. She's sharing her top 20 books of 2023. We're almost to her number one pick. Our next book that we have is The Woman in the Window.
Woo hoo hoo! We love that. We love that book by AJ Finn. You have Anna Fox, who is a child psychologist, but she's afraid to go outside. So she spent her time doing her practice from home, but then she's looking out the window at what's going over at the neighbor, and we're trying to figure out, is she just drugged up? Is this real? Did she
Hmm.
really see somebody get killed? Is she really here? Is she woke? And we just don't know. So it leaves you with, did it really happen? Who
Hmm.
did it and why? So we love that one.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Our next one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Woo, Miss Hugo. We absolutely love that. She wants to tell her own story. Everybody, the tabloids want to know about the seven husbands.
Mm.
Some of them are short lived, some of them are less than 2 years, but they want to know what is going on with Evelyn Hugo. So she didn't want just anybody to write her story. So she wanted Monique to come in and write her story. And there is something that ties them in as to why she wanted Monique exclusively to write her story.
Interesting. Colette says that so far she's gotten two of them. I've been seeing you guys have been keeping those bubbles going, so we appreciate that. And Wendy says the woman in the window will have you doubting your own comprehension of what you're reading. A good read. All right. And
Mm.
again, all of these are new to me. The next one is The Good Son.
Oh, love it, love it. Jacqueline uh, Mitchell. In this story, you'll see a young man. This is about uh, dating and also abuse in the dating. So you
Hmm.
have a young couple where this young man alleged supposed to have killed his girlfriend. So now you have a mother who's trying to love her son, but yet he is this murder, they say. Tabloids, you have the press at the door. He cannot come outside for fear of the press coming. So it is a good story where you see that not only do you have abuse in adult relationship, but also in young adults have abuse as well.
Interesting. Tamika says, so exciting. Ellen, I like you, so that's why I'm letting us go over here because I'm enjoying my time with you. I Let's see, Stacy. Stacy's joining us on the Amazon side. Stacy says, read A Resurrection in Bonner's Ferry. You won't be able to put it down. Great story with so many wonderful characters, 5 stars. You guys can be able to get that book. You heard Stacy say that's one to add. You can get it here on the carousel here on Amazon. So make sure you guys add it to your reading list. Wendy says Evelyn Hugo's story is interesting with a lot of twist. All right,
Mhm.
next up we have Mad Honey. Someone's already bought this one, I see. I just saw the blue go up. Tell us about this one, Ellen.
That is such a good story where you have two women uh, that their children, like their father, their fatherlessness is there. You have a young girl who has a dark story, a young boy who has a dark story as well. All I can say is look out for that court case. It's going to reveal a lot of things.
All right. The Dust Bowl is next up, and I actually saw someone comment about that on the Amazon side. Let's see who that was. That was Wendy. Wendy says I was talking about the Dust Bowl. That made your list. Tell us about that one. The Dust Bowl
Oh,
Orphans.
with the Dust Bowl, you have two young girls. I love the fact that they had young characters. Two young girls, a sibling, very young, 15-year-old, and I believe she's 5 or 6, the sister. They get separated from their family. And I like the way the writer had it, like in the 1950s and versus what's going on today. Because I was like, how is this going to match? But that technology and that 1950s, it kind of get together, and it also brings up a point of ancestry. That's all I'll say about that.
All right. Judy says, good story. Judy, thank you so much for joining us on Facebook. Tennille Jackson, hello to you, Tennille. Tennille says, two of my favorite reviewers, hey Cyrus and Ellen. Appreciate you being with us. Tennille, you're kind of getting a 3-in-1 today because we are doing our Amazon Live. We're simulcasting it for audiences on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. But we also are showing you our screen so you can actually see the books that we are talking about. Ellen of ESP Presents is counting down her top 20 books of this year. She was just talking to us about her titles. We have just two more, Ellen. Your second pick, your number two is Take My Hand.
My, oh my, oh my, did this writer do a wonderful job. It shows you how when you have someone back in that time where uh, young women, their bodies was being, if I would say, at a young age, not knowing what they're doing. The parents can't read, write, they're signing over things. And they were sterilizing people, young girls, even before they become a woman. And
Mm.
so it's a lot of things that come on back in that time, even without anesthetic or anything. So it shows how uh, you just need to know about your body. You just need to care. So during that weight versus weight type of thing, you'll get a
Mhm.
feel of that. But that was really good.
Okay.
Hmm.
Dr. Bama says, I love hearing you both. Great list. Thank you, Dr. Bama. Congratulations to you, Dr.
Thank
Bama,
you.
for
Thank
making the
you.
list. And now we've come to your number one pick. Your number one pick, Ellen, are you ready? Your
Yes.
number one pick of 2023 is The House of Eve.
Woo! That is a book that you don't want to put down. There is some things going on. Ruby and also uh, Elaine, their stories kind of tie in together. There is some dark things going on. There is some colorism. There is just a lot of historical stuff that you would get out of that book, and it is absolutely amazing.
All right. Colette says this was a good book. I'm so glad that we can be able to share, and we are back now full screen with our audience here. What a great list, Ellen. And because I like Ellen, we even went over our scheduled time because I wanted to give her time to be able to talk about these books. I know what it's like to get excited about books. So I want to be able to give you time, Ellen, to be able to share these. But again, these were the 20 books chosen from ESP Presents as their top 20 books of 2023. Ellen, great list. Again, a lot of them I have not read. And I need to add The House of Eve for sure to my list. I've interviewed Sadiqa before, so definitely need to be able to get that one. It is so hard to keep up sometimes. It's so hard to keep up with all of them. So, Ellen, great job putting together a great list. How can our viewers stay connected with you?
They can reach me on ESP Presents all of my you all of my channels, Facebook, Instagram, and Wisdom. You can look at me on there. Thank you so much, Cyrus.
Oh, this was fun. This was very fun. So you can tell everyone how nice I was to you, Ellen.
I
Um,
was about to say that. I was about to say
yeah, I don't discriminate. Android, iPhone, I treat everybody the same. And I just wanted to be, I want that on the record here because sometimes I get, a bad rap about treating people who are,
with the iPhones, but really, y'all, he is really nice today.
wait a minute, hold on, Ellen, hold on. You're about to mess up, so let me cut you off.
I absolutely
you,
love
you, 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 you,
Cyrus.
about, you about to mess up. See, I invited you in my
I'm giving
house.
you kudos. I'm giving you
She
kudos. I
just
absolutely
said I
love
was
you.
very nice today. Did you hear that? Today. Did you hear that caveat you put there? Today. Which implies, Ellen, that I'm not very nice other days.
I had to do it. I had to do it. You're nice.
I'm taking you off my screen because I'm messing with you. I don't have to put up with this. I don't have to put up with this abuse. Not
Don't
in
cut
my
me
house.
off. I say he knows when to cut me off.
Ellen, no, this was a lot of fun. So glad to have you on again, everyone. Ellen, Colette says hilarious. You see how they treat me, Colette? He
Yeah.
was very nice today. It's recorded. The world will hear this. But no, Ellen, this has been great. Make sure you guys do check out the 20 books chosen by Ellen for 2023. All of them are here on the carousel. If you're catching the replay, you can always go back and get those books for sure. Also, if you guys are on the Amazon side and you have not hit that follow button, here in this corner or down below where you see Ellen and myself, that way you can stay connected with all of our broadcasting. We have 4 new shows coming to Amazon in 2024. I don't want you to miss any of them. So make sure you guys hit the follow button so you can stay connected with all of our updates. Ellen, again, congratulations to you. And looking forward to chatting with you again.
Thank you so much, Cyrus, as always.
All right. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.